We are going deep on Kate Bush today.
Ooh, fun.
But not just her hits.
Right.
We're going to really look at what 6 of her songs say about love and desire and all the stuff.
All the in-between stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have like a really interesting mix of sources for this one.
Yes, we do.
There's like this academic analysis.
Right. Always good to have the, the scholarly perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then there's also this blog post by this artist, ColourBlindBaby,
Okay.
who is trying to make Valentine's Day cards inspired by Kate Bush songs.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
that's going to be a challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, because it already tells us
Right. Yeah.
that we are not dealing with, your typical like lovey-dovey
Yeah.
kind of simple love songs.
Definitely not Hallmark card material.
No.
Yeah.
So before we even get to the specific songs,
Okay.
can you just give us a sense of what makes Kate Bush's approach to love and relationships so interesting?
Well, I mean, she's often called a lyrical genius.
Okay.
And for good reason. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not writing, your typical chorus verse kind of
Right.
simple love songs.
Yeah.
Her lyrics are way more like poetry.
Sure.
They're full of symbolism and imagery that you really have to like unpack and
So it's not just like, I love you, you love me, let's hold hands.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think a good way to think about it is like
Okay.
most love songs give you the what.
Yeah.
Like what happened in the relationship, what the
Right.
person's feeling.
Yeah.
Kate Bush is more interested in the why and the how.
Interesting.
Like the
Intrigued.
good.
So let's start with probably her most well-known song,
Okay.
Running Up That Hill.
A deal with God.
Yes. A deal with God.
Yeah.
There's that line. If I only could, I'd make a deal with God and I'd get him to swap our places.
Oh, yeah.
I get chills every time.
It's such a powerful line.
Get chills every time.
It's such a powerful line. And I think it really gets to the heart of what the song is about, which is this deep yearning for empathy in a relationship.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding your partner.
Yeah.
It's about actually experiencing things from their perspective,
Wow.
even if it means making a deal with the divine to do it.
Well, because it kind of acknowledges
Yeah,
how difficult true empathy can be.
absolutely.
Like we can't literally become each other, but like the desire is there.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
If running up that hill is about like yearning for understanding
Mhm.
within a relationship,
Yeah.
our next song, Hounds of in a Relationship,
Yeah.
our next song, Hounds of Love, kind of flips that on its head.
Yeah.
It's about that like almost desperate hunger for connection
Fuck.
that drives us towards love in the first place.
I see what you mean. Like the title itself is so intense.
Yeah.
Hounds of Love. It's like this force chasing you down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're being hunted by...
Totally gives me that like running for your life feeling,
Right.
but in a good way.
In a good way, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling, that thrill mixed with fear,
Yeah.
that's what Bush captures so brilliantly in this song.
Okay.
She uses the metaphor of the hunt to show how we're both drawn to and terrified by the intensity of falling in love.
So in one song, we're like trying to bridge the gap
Right.
within an existing relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next one, we're like the ones being hunted down
Yes, it's
by love itself.
It's a complete like 180.
Yeah, that's quite a shift.
And it highlights just how complex Bush's view of love is.
Okay.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
Right.
There's this primal, almost dangerous energy at play,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, most of us have probably felt at some point.
Totally makes those rom-coms look pretty tame.
Right.
So we've got the yearning for connection,
Yes.
the thrill of the chase.
Uh-huh.
What else does Kate Bush throw at us?
Well, let's face it, no relationship is perfect bliss all the time.
True.
Our next song, Love and Anger, dives headfirst into the reality of conflict.
Which seems almost anti-Valentine's Day,
Yeah, you think.
considering our artist friend is struggling with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what's important about love and anger
Okay.
is that it's not about like breaking up or saying it's all over. It's
Right.
more about that delicate dance of like
Okay.
expressing your anger without destroying the love that's still there.
And even the title itself kind of suggests
Mm-hmm.
that those two things aren't opposites.
Right.
Like you can be furious with someone
Uh-huh.
and still love them deeply.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that conflict is inevitable,
Yeah.
but it's how you handle it that determines whether your relationship survives.
Ooh, that's good.
And this is where I think Bush's lyrical genius really shines.
Okay.
She doesn't offer easy answers,
Right.
But she captures that raw, messy experience.
Here is about navigating conflict within a relationship.
Yeah.
Our next song seems to explore what happens after a relationship ends.
Okay.
L'Amour looks something like... Even the title sounds so nostalgic.
It is a very bittersweet one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here Bush uses really evocative...
Yeah.
And here Bush uses really evocative language.
Okay.
Almost like she's painting with words.
Yeah.
To capture that, like, lingering ghost of a past love.
Feeling of love just being so all-consuming.
Intoxicating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the song doesn't shy away from, like, the physical aspect of love either.
Not at all.
There's, like, a real sensuality in the lyrics.
Definitely.
But also, like, a deep sadness for what's been lost.
Yes.
It makes you think about how, like, even when a relationship is over,
Yeah.
the memories, the feelings, they don't just vanish overnight.
No, they linger.
Yeah, they linger like a scent. And that brings us to a song that often sparks debate among fans.
Oh, okay.
The Warm Room.
Interesting choice.
It's one of...
It is.
And some people interpret it as being about female sexuality.
Okay.
Specifically.
Interesting.
Whoa, okay, that's a pretty bold interpretation.
Well, remember how we were talking about Bush's lyrics often being like poetry?
Yes.
So in The Warm Room, the lyrics create this atmosphere of intimacy and tenderness.
Okay.
But the imagery is quite suggestive, let's say.
Okay.
So think of it like this. The warm room can be seen as a symbol for female anatomy.
Okay.
And the song becomes about the beauty and power of female desire.
Okay, it's all about the feelings and sensation. Considering the artist who wants to make Valentine's Day cards gets really interesting.
Right, because how do you translate something that layered and complex
Yeah.
into a simple greeting card?
Right.
It's tricky.
That's a challenge, for sure. But before we get too sidetracked,
Okay.
we have one more song on our list.
All right.
Feel It.
Ah.
This one is not subtle at all
No, it isn't.
when it comes to desire.
It is very direct.
There's no mistaking what she's talking about.
Nope.
But even though it's so direct, there's still a vulnerability to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't there?
It's not just about the physical act.
Okay.
It's about the trust and surrender that comes with allowing yourself to be that vulnerable with a person.
So we've gone from yearning for empathy to the thrill of the chase
Mm-hmm.
to navigating conflict, the echoes of past love, and now this powerful, unapologetic expression of desire.
That's quite a range.
It's pretty clear that Kate Bush does not shy away from any aspect of love and relationships in her music.
No, she does not.
And that's what makes this so fascinating.
Yeah, she challenges us to think beyond the simple love song tropes
Right.
and confront the messy, complicated reality of human connection.
Okay.
It's interesting listening to all these songs together like this.
Yeah.
One thing that really stands out to me is how Kate Bush manages to walk this line
Okay.
between the personal and the universal.
What do you mean by that?
Well, on one hand, like, her songs are so clearly rooted in her own experiences and emotions. Like, you feel like you're getting a glimpse into her heart,
Right.
her relationships or desires.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
she taps into these, like, universal truths, love and connection that I think we can all relate to.
So it's like she's giving us this window into her world.
Yeah.
But we also see ourselves reflected in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to her songwriting skill.
Okay.
You know, take Running Up That Hill, for example.
Okay.
That yearning for deep empathy,
Mm.
for truly understanding another person's point of view.
Right.
I think we've all felt that at some point.
Especially in those moments when you're, like,
Yeah.
really clashing with someone you love.
Right.
Which makes me think about Love and Anger.
Okay.
How that song tackles conflict head on.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a songs?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think there is.
Okay.
It's almost like running up that hill is the ideal,
Okay.
the desire for perfect understanding.
Yeah.
And then love and anger is the reality.
Okay.
The messy struggle
Right.
to maintain that connection even when things get tough.
And wouldn't that make Hounds of Love the spark that ignites the whole thing?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That desperate need for connection that drives us towards love,
Yeah.
even if it feels a bit scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like we're tracing the arc of a relationship.
Trying to force Bush's music
Yeah.
into a traditional romantic mold.
Right.
maybe the artist can embrace the bittersweet, the nostalgic, the love that lingers even in its absence.
That's a really cool idea.
Right.
Like Valentine's Day doesn't have to be all about like new love or happy couples.
Exactly.
It can also be about acknowledging the love that we've lost.
Yeah, and the way that it shaped us. And if you look at the trajectory of the songs we've discussed, it's like the warm room is a natural progression.
I agree.
Yeah, we've got the initial pursuit, the raw expression of desire.
Right.
And then with the warm room, it's almost like we're going deeper.
Yeah, like we're going inward.
Yeah, exploring the internal experience of female sexuality.
And that's a huge step forward from the typical portrayals of women in love songs.
Right, which often focus on the object of desire.
Yes.
Rather than the desiring subject.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like Bush is saying, hey, women have desires too.
Yes.
And they're just as complex and valid as anyone else's. And that message is just as relevant today.
Oh, absolutely.
As it was back then.
For sure.
It makes you wonder how the artist planning those Valentine's Day cards would handle this song.
Yeah. How do you translate the nuances of them into something commercially viable?
Right.
That's the question.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
But maybe that's where the challenge lies.
Maybe.
You know, maybe the artist needs to be brave enough to push those boundaries, to create something that's both beautiful and thought-provoking.
I think so.
So are you suggesting that they embrace the more sensual X of Bush's music?
I think it would be really interesting.
I mean, that's pretty risky.
It is.
For a Valentine's Day card. It might not be for everyone.
Right.
But think about the impact it could have.
Okay.
Imagine receiving a Valentine's Day card.
Yeah.
That celebrates the full spectrum of love and desire.
Right.
Including the feminine perspective.
Okay.
It could be a real game changer.
Okay. Now you've got me thinking about what those cards would look like.
Good. You know, it's amazing how you can listen to a song like us to find our own meaning within them.
Exactly. And I think that's why this whole Valentine's Day card project is so fascinating.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront the question of how do we translate those complex emotions into something tangible, something we can share with others?
Right, like we talked about how some of these songs, like The Warm Room or even Hounds of Love, don't exactly scream, be mine.
Yeah, not your typical Valentine's Day fare.
But maybe that's the point.
Okay.
Maybe Valentine's Day doesn't have to be all hearts and flowers.
I like that idea. Maybe it's an opportunity to celebrate the full spectrum of love.
Right.
Including the messy, complicated, even heartbreaking parts.
So instead of trying to like sanitize Bush's music, the artists could embrace those darker, more challenging aspects.
Yeah. A card that acknowledges the pain of lost love.
Wow.
Or the struggle to maintain a relationship through conflict.
That would be intense.
It would be a bold choice. But it could also be incredibly powerful.
Right. It would be like a reminder that love isn't always easy.
Right.
But it's worth fighting for.
And wouldn't that be a more honest reflection of Kate Bush's music?
Totally.
She doesn't shy away from the difficult stuff.
No, she leans right in.
In fact, she embraces it.
And I think that's what makes her work so enduring. It's relatable. It's real.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're not alone in experiencing the full range of human emotions.
From the highest highs.
I'm also thinking about how we discussed The Warm Room and its interpretation as being about female sexuality.
Yeah.
A Valentine's Day card that acknowledges female desire in that way.
Right.
That would be pretty revolutionary.
Absolutely. It would be a statement.
Yeah.
A reclaiming of female pleasure and agency.
And it wouldn't have to be explicit or graphic.
No, not at all.
Right.
It could be something as simple as an image
that
evokes those feelings of warmth and intimacy and self-possession.
You know, we've been talking about this artist and their Valentine's Day cards for a while now.
We have.
And I'm actually starting to get kind of envious.
Yeah, it's a cool project.
Really cool project.
Talk about a creative challenge, but I think it's a challenge worth taking on.
Totally.
Because if they can pull it off, if they can create cards that truly capture the spirit of Kate Bush's music, it could be something really special.
It would be more than just a greeting card.
Right.
It would be a work of art.
Exactly.
And it makes you wonder, like, what other unconventional ways can we express love and appreciation?
Right. I love that.
Okay, now you're really making me think. But I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Okay.
And in the meantime, you can actually follow ColourBlindBaby's progress on this project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sharing updates and behind-the-scenes peeks on their Facebook page.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
yeah, so definitely check that out.
Okay.
And if you want to see more of their work, you can check out their Etsy shop, which is colorblindbaby.etsy.com. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive